Hey guys, I just want to remind everyone that next week I will be at Indie PopCon. I'm doing 2 panels, a YouTube how-to panel featuring myself, Andre from Black Nerd Comedy, and Brizzy Voices on Saturday from 1 to 1:45 in the large panel room, and I'm also doing a That One Video Gamer Completionist Q&A panel at 6 p.m. on Friday in that exact same large panel room. I'll also be around to judge some of the indie game festival that's happening, and I'll be around all weekend long to meet fans and friends alike. And if you see me there, don't be afraid to say hello, ask for photographs, autographs, all that fun stuff. I'm there to meet you guys. I never go in that part of the world. So if you're going to the convention, come say hi, come say hello, let's hang out. I'll see you there. That was a weird song. It's that time of year again, folks. That's right, the E3 hype train has just picked all of us industry folk up, and it's finally winding down and dropping us all back off at our stops. And now that I'm back in my office, it's time for me to deliver my opinion. But before I do dive into this video, let me just get these 2 things out of the way. Oh my god, The Last Guardian of Final Fantasy VII HD Remake! Oh my god! After listening, reacting, and livestream commentating for 2 days straight, I found the press conferences of E3 this year incredible. There were a lot more highs than lows, and then there were some of these conferences that were just weird.
Directly to you.
Now, generally speaking, I don't like ranking the conferences or their performances on any type of scale, because in my eyes, we the gamers win in the end. Great presentations lead to great games. And even if there's a game you don't like, and I'm talking about things like World of Final Fantasy or online mobile gaming in general, there is an audience for those types of games. And it's just not for us sometimes. You know, different strokes for different folks. I think the biggest problem I had with the conferences this year was that we saw a lot of beautiful cutscenes with no gameplay, or beautiful cutscenes with very little gameplay and yet no playable demo on the show floor. So with that, I give you my top 10 games of E3 2015. The games on this list are only games I could actually play on the floor. So what this means is no Uncharted 4, no Final Fantasy VII HD Remake, no Kingdom Hearts 3, no Last Guardian, so on and so forth. Now there may be 1 or 2 repeats from last year's list, but it's because these games have undergone pretty large transformations or whatnot. Oh, and no mobile companion games or apps. I'm looking at you, EA.
Damn, that looks just like me. Number 10.
One of the first things I played on the floor was Tearaway for the PS4. Made by the people over at Little Big Planet's Media Molecule, the game's entire layout of assets is made completely with paper. The main characters, enemies, the floor, which overall gives the entire game this fun, young, and imaginative look. Now, this game isn't entirely brand new. There was originally a version for the PS Vita, but this time around, this version feels a lot more fleshed out and accurately applied when it comes to the dynamics of the PS4 controller schematics. However, one thing did stop me a few times in my tracks. During the beginning of the demo, they really teach you a lot to take in and remember about the game's mechanics. That's not necessarily bad, but it was kind of weird for me at first. There's a lot of intricacy when it comes to controls. I guess I should have played some other games first. I was a bit bad when I played it and kind of half asleep. Kind of like how I sound now. I haven't slept all week, you guys, seriously.
Number 9.
So we all kind of know what happened last year with Assassin's Creed. But I will say that this time around, I got physical hands-on game time with Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and it feels a lot more at home with Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. I get the vibe that this is also everything that Assassin's Creed 3 was supposed to be. The game, while it does feature the assassination tactics of the usual wrist blade, doesn't feel as focused on that aspect. There's other ways to fight your enemies, with most of the battle honing in on your combat abilities and weapons being chained in unity. The game is set in the Industrial Revolution, which means trains, carriages, steamboats, and more reflective crafts of the time. We're going to see horse carriage fights and enemies trying to mess with our badass top hat fighting skills. And with that, we have new tools the assassin possesses, a walking cane that has a hidden blade in it, as well as a zipline utility that will allow us to climb our way to other buildings and whatnot. Overall, I have high hopes, but then again, last year we said Unity was going to be great, and we were dead wrong. oh so dead wrong. So here's to hoping that I'm right.
Number 8.
During the rhythm game wars of 2006 onward, I always sided with Guitar Hero. In my opinion, they always had the better layout, the better quality of guitars and equipment, and the grading system was great. However, Rock Band featured a fantastic song list and really made you feel like you were a part of a large entity. Real quick though, here's my side tangent. So when I found out that we'd be getting both new versions, I was thrilled and angry. Thrilled to see these games back in action, angry because I literally had guitars and drum sets for Wii, PS2, PS3, 360, PC, which means now I'm going to need to get newer, better ones for the newer versions of these games. And I do know a lot of you out there exchanged your Rock Band guitars and drum sets several times, do not lie. I worked at Best Buy for a long time during those times, and I had to put those stupid yellow manufacturer stickers on those boxes to inform customers that one or more pieces in the box may be broken upon arrival. I really hope I don't have to go through all of that again. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm calm. So, Guitar Hero Live. I played it, it was a lot of fun. It felt very familiar to the original Guitar Hero, but at the same time, it felt really weird at first. Everyone freaked out because the new Guitar Hero went from 5 buttons to 3. That's a large change. But here's the thing, there isn't just 3 buttons. There's 6 buttons now, 2 sets of 3 on top of each other, black and white buttons. And you know what? It actually felt pretty solid. I felt like I was actually playing a real guitar, and that's saying a lot considering what Guitar Hero already is. The combination of black and white buttons feel like you're forming real chords on your frets. My brain at first was having a really hard time reading it all together, but in my eyes, this is a great way to push the franchise forward.
Number 7.
One of the big things for me in the 3DS 2 years ago was The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. After my review of it, I kind of officially donned it as my favorite Zelda of all time. Sunder and I were talking a little bit before the Nintendo Direct, and we both agreed we would love to see another Zelda title on the 3DS in the Link Between Worlds engine. Lo and behold, here comes the announcement of Zelda Triforce Heroes, and suffice to say, it plays awesome. It's incredibly similar to that of The Legend of Zelda: The Four Swords, but now there's only 3 players. The controls are awesome, and I really liked playing it with friends, but I feel this game can only be played with friends. Why do I say that? I say that because the game can become incredibly trolly. I can't begin to tell you how many times during my playthroughs where I killed my team. You all share hearts, so if someone falls off, the whole team falls off together. Of course, metaphorically speaking, and it's easy to make mistakes and hurt each other, which in turn affects the whole team. But for a 3DS game, I'm excited and it will tie me over until the announcement of Zelda Wii U. We all know it's coming.
Number 6.
Star Fox 64 was my jam. I feel that Nintendo is still having a hard time perfecting the art of Star Fox since then. Last year, they just teased a little Star Fox, but this year, we've got a live playable demo, and it's a blast. At the Treehouse Live booths, they even had an R-Wing cockpit setup that you could play the game in. Being able to switch into the different modes of the R-Wing is great. It gives off the vibe that there's no one real way to beat a level, and the Corneria opening demo stage I played not only mirrors that of the 64 quite well, but the all-range mode boss fight had 2 different ways of defeating it, killing satellites around or on top of it, or flying into the inside and switching to the Walker R-Wing. I do have a few problems with Star Fox Zero though. The visuals could be better, and the controls are a little weird at first. The gamepad constantly kept getting calibrated while I was playing, and I was really hoping to not have to use the gyro controls, but this time around, it seems that's what the game was designed for. Personally, I always like different control options, but we'll see. I do have a good feeling about it though. It's got everything we loved from the N64 version and then some.
Number 5.
Getting a bit of a facelift, Super Mario Maker looks a lot better than what we saw from last year. The game got a name change from Mario Maker to Super Mario Maker. The Mario Paint style, while still there, has been toned back a little bit. The online setup for uploading your original Mario levels is well crafted, and the amiibo support is a lot of fun. You can create levels with certain amiibos and share them with the world, and the people playing those levels don't need the amiibo to access them. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see what comes of it. At the Nintendo World Championship, we saw Super Mario Maker at its finest, with some of the more interesting levels created by the Nintendo Treehouse devs, and people loved the levels so much that Miyamoto is going to put them in the actual game. Now, I know this game doesn't seem fun for a lot of non-Mario fans, but I'm huge into Mario. A lot of you should know that by now. I'm also really into hard punishing games like Kaizo Mario. And this game is going to allow so many people to create the hardest levels out there. And in fact, on Super Beard Bros, which is my Let's Play channel, we're going to be doing a series where you, the audience, can create levels for me, and every week I'm going to try my best to beat them. I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with.
Number 4.
Mighty Number 9, the Kickstarter supported game, makes its debut at E3 2015. And you know what? It's ready. I'm ready to play it. I, however, unlike the thousands of you out there, didn't support this game on Kickstarter. Mostly because by the time I was thinking about supporting it, the game was already well funded, and they were in the late hours of their stretch goals. But I did help them promote it because I love Mega Man and I want a fresh taste of it. I didn't want a beta or a sneak peek. I wanted to experience it as blind as I could. And then I got to E3 and I saw the booth and I caved in. This game to me is like a hybrid between Mega Man and Mega Man X. The platforming and the shooting feels like the original Mega Man, but it has the agility and speed of Mega Man X. I think a ton of what makes this game so special is that it's a nostalgia trip and a half for everyone. I feel like I'm playing the Shovel Knight version of Mega Man, which is incredibly exciting to me. But at the same time, the combat system has a lot that was really different. I appreciate the subtle liberties that the devs have put into the game. Playing the demo made me want to put some money down towards the collectors of the game, but who knows? It's still too early to tell. This game may be the best, or maybe it just may be okay.
Number 3.
Now, one franchise I rarely talk about, which I would like to fix, is Street Fighter. I secretly love this fighting game, and I don't play it nearly enough. I main Ryu and Zangief, and let me tell you, I'm awful at it. But if you are good at Street Fighter 4, every Saturday night we do a thing called Saturday Night Slams on my Twitch channel where you guys can play with me and my community managers. I'm not always there, but I try to be there when I can. It's mostly for you guys, the community, to get a chance to be seen on stream by hundreds and hundreds of your peers, sometimes thousands. I waited a long time in line, but when I finally got to play Street Fighter 5 at E3, I knew I was in for a treat. The two newish V mechanics and skills are different enough from previous installments to feel fresh and interesting. One feels offensive and one feels defensive, all of them feeling unique per character. And while the character choices were limited, it felt and looked new. Even the versus screen shows how far Capcom has come. This feels like a better transition of the 3D 2D fighter Capcom meant to create with the original Street Fighter 4. But then again, I'm sure we're going to see 4 to 6 iterations of Street Fighter 5 as well.
Number 2.
Splatoon is a game based on team effort and points, which everyone in the past few weeks I'm sure has been enjoying quite a bit. And while I am working hard on my second part of the review, which is taking long because I need to get to level 20, get A+ ranking on ranked mode, and own as much RNG equipment as possible, and yet I'm already ready for a new type of team game. And I'm really glad that Ubisoft came up with this one. For Honor is a 4v4 hack and slash game that involves you battling either as a knight, a samurai, or a Viking. And let me just say, this was one of the few games that they didn't let everyone play on the floor. Because of my past relationship with Ubisoft, Alex and I got to play a couple of long matches, and I was blown away by its simplicity. Playing as a male or female warrior in a party of 4, you must defend points A, B, and C in order to accumulate points. It becomes a king of the hill battle of who can maintain these points the longest. And the first team to acquire 1,000 points will then change the tide of battle. The opposing team will then be switched to 1 life. Slay the 4 enemies and you are done. Now, the battle mechanics are not as clean as it looks. It's kind of like a quick rock, paper, scissors meets hack and slash. So you really have to understand what your stances are, where your sword is, but it does have that MOBA feel with certain passives and special abilities. It's simple right now, sure, but I cannot wait for For Honor to go further into its developmental cycle.
Number 1.
Can I just say that for E3 2015, overall, I was a bit underwhelmed. Honestly, the games I talked about are the games I genuinely only cared about. A lot of the conferences felt like they were saying, oh, well, in 2016, this is going to happen. Or just you wait, in a few years, they're going to be great. So you can kind of imagine why my list overall is pretty safe. But my number 1 was one game I never thought I'd see in my top 10 list. Cuphead is a co-op bullet hell platformer like the likes of Contra, but the big kicker here is that the entire design and aesthetics of the game is drawn exactly like an old cartoon. And they nail it right on the head. In the build we played, it was only boss fights, but man, oh man, were they rad. Every time you shot your blast out, you'd build your meter, and you can use a special to wipe the stage with crazy cartoon fun. There's 2 types of different shots, one for long range and one for short range. And the meter building mechanic of time jumps on purple projectiles and enemies is another layer of subtle goodness to mix between these very difficult boss fights. Now, the game did have a few bugs when I played it, but you could tell these guys really cared. I played so much of this game that I had no desire to go anywhere else most of the con. This game, time and time again, was one I recommended to every person I ran into. Did you play Cuphead? Go play it. Cuphead? Go play it. You need to play Cuphead. This game has so much heart. It's got charm. It's got so much going for it. It's an indie game that came out of nowhere for me. And this game made me realize how small of the world it really can be. The devs had told me while I was playing their game that they watch a lot of Normal Boots content, which to me is an incredible honor. Cuphead was my ultimate winner of E3 2015. So that was my E3, and I hope you guys enjoyed it for what it was. And if you're still here, I have a question for you. What was your favorite pick from this year's E3? Based on trailers, impressions, coverage, whatever. And I just want to remind everyone that in the end, we, the gamers, are really the ones that win E3 every year. And if you want more coverage on all the E3 goodness of this year, head over to thatonevideogamer.com. Super Bunny Hop, aka George Weedman, did a lot of great coverage for us. You can check that out over at the website, or if you're just too lazy, you can give it a click in the description right below in the box in there. I'll see you guys next week for another episode of The Completionist. You guys want to know what the episode is? You want to know? Do you want to know? It's now. If you excuse me, let's just watch the joyous trailer that is Cuphead. Enjoy. Cuphead's f***ing great.